Happy day, digital world. It's Bob here, your annual computer science project demonstration fair organizer. So this year is a very historic computer science project demonstration fair for two reasons. One is it's the 10th annual, so it's the 10th year anniversary, so we've been doing this, organizing this for 10 years now. So anything that's going on for 10 years is quite some milestone, I would say. And it is most likely the last project fair on the Singleton campus. So in future years, it will likely, although it's not guaranteed, it will likely take place on the Bay campus, assuming there's some place where we can hold it there. I'm guessing there probably is, but I don't actually know yet. We'll find out next year. So this is a little short presentation or information video, whatever you like to call it, to help you be informed about the project fair, take advantage of it, and prepare for it. So it's divided into two parts: the things you need to know and the things you need to do between now and the time of the fair. So the fair takes place on Friday, March 11th this year, which is something new. Usually it takes place on a Thursday. The location is in the refectory, so that is the student center cafeteria on the floor above the ground floor. So I guess it would be the first floor in the big dining hall area. So we're going to use that space, same as last year, for setting up all the demonstrations. The event has a web page, and I will link to the web page in the description of this video. But basically, if you can find my web page, you Google Robert S. Laramie, and then click on Teaching, and then Computer Science Project Fair. In the list of modules, you will find the web page for this event. And you'll see lots of helpful information on there. For example, the program of the day. So setup starts at 10 a.m. You might want to arrive punctually because the places are on a first come, first served basis. So some people like to set up their demonstrations, for example, near the windows or in a special location that they prefer. And the places for demonstrations are on a first come, first served basis. So if you want to get a nice place, then you might want to come early. And there's a more information, like lunch will be served, and afternoon tea and coffee will also be served on that day. So the full program information is on the webpage. The webpage has videos from previous project fairs, which I highly recommend checking out. And in those videos, you'll get to see what it's like. The same with the photos. There are photos from previous years. And if you look carefully at the videos and photos, you'll see some really outstanding projects from previous years. You'll get to see a wide range of examples and how people set up their demonstrations, what their posters look like. You'll be able to see some really outstanding posters and what they look like, and just some very, very interesting and imaginative demos. We will give out prizes on that day. We'll give out prizes for the best project is selected by industry, so we will have industry presence that day. We are inviting local industry or whichever local industry is interested in attending. We already have one company, a beautiful company, by the way, called We Predict, that would like to sponsor the event. So they are definitely looking forward to this day. And there'll be a prize for best project or best demonstration as voted for by the academic staff as well. So watch out for that. The event is open to everyone, so we're going to invite the entire university. We're going to invite the entire world, essentially. And that includes the second year computer science students and first year. You may even remember, if you have a really good memory, getting an invitation to this event last year and 2 years ago. And this is a very rare opportunity. I like to mention this because it's true. This is a very rare opportunity. When you go to industry, it is actually quite unusual to present your work to anybody. So a typical software developer just sits in the corner and basically never gives a presentation, and even if they did give a presentation, it's usually in front of a very small, exclusive, private audience, for example, fellow employees. It's almost never in the public. So it's really a very rare opportunity, right? So think about that and take advantage of that, because something like this is very unusual, and it's unlikely to ever happen again in your life, actually. What to do? So you need to send your project title to Ben Mora by the specified deadline. So Ben Mora has emailed all third year students with a deadline to send your project titles to him. Your project title may have changed since you started your project. We take all those project titles and we actually print out banners on the display stands. So when you arrive in the morning of Friday, May the 11th, you will look for your project title, and you'll take that sign and put it on your stand, at the top of your stand, and you'll see those when you look at the previous year's example videos and photos. Ben needs your up-to-date title and a correct title of your project, and it has to be by the deadline he said sometime in April in his email, because we need time to actually print those signs. We need a few weeks to print those signs, so please make sure that does not escape your to-do list. Review the project handbook. So the third year project handbook has a special section dedicated to the project fair. Have a look at that, have a read of that. It includes information about how to construct a poster, for example, a helpful poster, and so on. And you obviously can use Google for that kind of information, like how to construct a good poster. But again, I encourage you to look at the videos and photos from previous years that are linked on the Project Fair webpage to find what you think are the good ones, your favorite examples of nice posters and nice demonstrations and so on. The handbook will also provide some very useful information about your dissertation, writing up your dissertation. Another thing I would add to your to-do list is to create a demo video of your software. And there are a number of good reasons to create a demo video. You can download free screen capture software when you've got the near final or final version of your software, if you're developing software as part of your project, which hopefully you are. And you capture a video, a screen capture demo that shows off all the features in your software and shows how it works and what the input is and what the output is and so on. And that will be very helpful on this day, this project demonstration fair day. So you can play the video and then explain your software, and you can have that video on auto loop, right? So it can always be playing, and you can be ready to explain what your software does at any time. You could even use a camera, like if you have something like Lego Mindstorm or something, you could give a demo video. You could record a demo video with a little camera, because most laptops have cameras nowadays. and play that also on auto loop, and that's makes your life a lot easier actually, because you don't necessarily want to have to give a manual demonstration like 100 times during the whole day for everybody that walks by, right? That's very difficult and labor intensive. But also live demonstrations often crash or something goes wrong, so you want to have a backup plan in case something goes wrong with your live demo on the day. You'll always have a video backup, right? So we really encourage that. You may want to bring a copy of your CV, right? There will be industry presence there, and there will be looking around at interesting projects, and some of them are interested in hiring, like We Predict, for example. That's why they're coming. So you might want to bring a CV just in case you discover somebody there that you want to follow up a conversation with, right? There might even be some very informal first impressions and interviews that happen, right, when you meet potential employers. As an added bonus, I encourage you to look at Bob's project guidelines. So I have spent quite some time typing up dedicated guidelines for writing these third-year dissertations and master's dissertations, by the way. They're called Bob's project guidelines. I spent around 4 years, not full-time, part-time, refining them, editing them, and these are the only referee guidelines. So these are actually published in a journal, right? And they've gone through a refereeing process, which means they've been peer-reviewed by other academics and then given their stamp of approval, and it's been published in the Journal of Higher Education or something. I can't remember the name of the journal. But you can find those also on my webpage if you click on Teaching and then Project Specification and Development, third-year Project Specification and Development. Google also can help you find those, right? If you just Google Bob's Project Guidelines, you'll see those. And by the way, on my webpage as well, on the project webpage, Project Specification webpage, you can find the LaTeX source for those guidelines. If you want to just download the LaTeX source and start editing your dissertation, you can do that. And finally, last but not least, don't be afraid to work hard on your final year project and your dissertation, and so on. I have never heard anybody say, oh, I worked too hard on my third year dissertation, or I worked too hard on my project. It really was painful. I've never heard anybody say that. But I've heard many people say, I wish I had worked harder on my third year project, or I wish I had done better work on this dissertation or this project. I've heard that many times, right? So when you work your best, when you do your best and you show that at the fair, we can see that. We walk around that fair and we can see, anybody can see, okay, this guy really tried his best. He gave it his all. And we can also see those projects where the person really didn't try their best and was not very interested in their project. There aren't many of those, but we can see it. Anybody can see, if they look around and look closely, who did their best and who didn't do their best. And you will enjoy it a lot more if you can really tell yourself, honestly, I did my best job. You'll really enjoy it. You won't look back in regret. And that's why it says here, enjoy. When you work hard and do your best on your project, you'll enjoy the event. And also enjoy that final milestone. This is the last major event of your degree, right? And the only other event thereafter is graduation. So enjoy this. It's the only time that all the final year students will be together, and you can admire each other's amazing work. thanks to everybody for listening. I hope you found this interesting, and if you have questions, don't be afraid